Hey guys, my name is Mary. I'm the Daydream Stitcher and I used to make Flosstube videos. This is actually Flosstube number 39. Today is February 18th, 2022. It's been a month since I made my last video and I feel really out of sorts. Like I don't know what I'm doing with this. But you know, it's realistic for me to get a Flosstube out several times a year, once a month if I'm doing really good. So when I try to get them out quicker than that, it often doesn't happen. If it does, I love it. But yeah, but for some reason I feel like it's been ages and ages and ages since I've made a video, so it's going to take me a minute, I think, to get back into the swing of things. So thank you to all of you who have subscribed and watched and commented and all the things. I love you all, and if you haven't done those things yet, please take the opportunity to do so with this video if you like what you have to see. Now, with WIPGO, I had grand plans and it's already not even the end of February and I'm already behind on my plans, but that should be no surprise if you have been with me for any length of time. That is how I roll, apparently, without meaning to, but it's just how I am. I got sidetracked, so I'm going to start and just kind of go through the couple things I have to show you with my update. I got sidetracked because I decided the beginning of February that I wanted to do some Valentine stitching. I was watching Flosstube and being enabled way too much. Particularly, I have to point fingers at Mary's Stitching Corner because she was stitching some beautiful Valentine's things, and I've never stitched Valentines before. I've never been really interested. Like, they're pretty, but I was not, you know, it was not anything that I had in my stash. And I thought, you know what? I want to do something seasonal for Valentine's. So I went on Etsy and looked around and I decided to stitch a gnome because I love gnomes. I've always wanted to stitch the seasonal ones, and I thought, you know what? I'll start one. Well, of course, I underestimated how large this thing was. I was thinking I was going to stitch this cute little gnome in a hoop, like a 4-inch hoop or something. Well, it's like bigger than that. And I was bound and determined to finish him by the end of, well, by Valentine's Day. So that's all I stitched on for about 2 weeks in the beginning of February. And I did finish him on Valentine's Day. And I envisioned him as a stand-up. And look at me, I'm slouching all the way down here. Okay, sit up, Mary. I envisioned him as a stand-up, but I've never made a stand-up before. If you are not familiar with a stand-up, please, I'm going to show you mine, but don't go by this. I highly recommend that you visit. Well, I'll mention them after I'll talk about it. Okay, and then I'll mention them and give credit where credit is due. But so I wanted to, basically it's a pillow that's supposed to stand up and has like a weighted base on the bottom. It doesn't have like a weighted base. It actually does have a weighted base, so I don't know why I said talk like that. So here he is, and oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed to show him because my finish is not good, but here's my gnome in all his little Valentine's goodness. And this is my backing fabric. So this is not only not perfect, it is like very wonky. And I almost didn't show him. If you're on Instagram with me, you may have noticed that I did not post this finish, which I really should, probably just for my own records, because I use Instagram kind of as my, you know, not my portfolio, but you know, just my journal, sort of picture journal of my year in stitching. So, you know, this curve is really just wonky, although I'm trying to tell myself it's a heart. Like, oh, we just put it in. And this curves over, as you can see in the back. There's some curvature, but again, telling myself that the hat is why. But speaking of the hat, I missed stitching the little pom-pom on here. So I'm actually debating maybe trying to glue or stitch an actual like fuzzy tinsely pom-pom on him. but I did put the year and the initials, and I'm overall, and you know what, if you caught this, I also did not finish stitching his hand. Guys, that's how scatterbrained I am. Like, that's just who I am. So I get to use the sewing method, and I'm going to go in and fix that. It's only like a couple stitches, so I will definitely finish that. He does not stand up. He does not stand up, you guys. And if he does, it's at a really strange angle, so that, like, you know, it's not really much good. But he can work as a pillow. I mean, I can prop him up on a shelf, you know, behind some things, or, you know, like in a corner of a shelf for Valentine's, or in a bowl for, you know, my seasonal table. I will still display him, but he probably won't stand. And eventually I would love to have like a line of standing gnomes. So I don't know. I followed the tutorial from Vonna Pfeiffer, who is Twisted Stitcher here on YouTube and Instagram and pretty much everywhere else online. And she is wonderful. I think most of you are probably familiar with her, but I talked to someone recently that had not heard of her. So I did want to mention that if you're looking for finishing tutorials, inspiration, Vonna is your girl. She has wonderful tutorials from start to finish on all kinds of different finishes, different ideas, and she is a professional finisher. She actually works in, or she used to work in a cross stitch shop. I'm not sure if she still does, but she does have a finishing business out of her home, and she's very crafty. I was also inspired by Made by Michelle McGraw, who is one of my favorite Flosstubers. She does stand up. She did a snowman recently, and then she just in her last video had a bride and groom that stand up, and she does a really good job too. So she is another one to watch if you're interested in seeing her stand-ups. She doesn't so much show how she does them, but she does a wonderful job. So this is my little gnome guy. This is my fabric. I hand sewed this, which of course took me like way longer than it would had I just like stuck it through the sewing machine. Ironically, I was concerned about sewing the dome, the arch, but of course even hand sewing, yeah, it really didn't turn out quite right. But I love him anyway, and he's almost finished, so he counts. Even the imperfect stuff counts. So my friend Stephanie at Sew Glover Creations here on YouTube and Instagram, and a fellow Floridian, hi Stephanie, she posted on her Instagram page that she was hosting something called Fully Finished February. So Stephanie, I'm happy to, that's about as fully finished as it's going to get right now. I mean, he does, yeah, he has those details I need to get to, but thank you for that inspiration. And you know, fully finished, the items are rare for me. Fully finished objects, whatever. Should I change it to FFIs? Fully finished items? Yeah, somehow it doesn't have quite the same ring to it. So Valentine's Day. I have mentioned on this channel before that I suffer with anxiety and depression at times. Some weeks are harder than others. I suspect many of us do. I know I'm not alone in that. I think it's fairly common. I think cross stitching, you know, helps our anxiety and kind of helps ground us. And I'm not ashamed to admit that there are some days that are hard. I tend to be functional, but you know, especially with the anxiety. So I bring that up because my February was even more anxiety inducing than usual. And I didn't get as much stitching done as I would have liked. Now, don't we say that every video, every update? I think I say that, but I mean, it's true. So this month, well, actually last month in January, at the end of January, I got an email from one of the moms who runs this homeschool group that we are in. I've been homeschooling my kids since they were little, so I mean at least 10 years. I was homeschooled myself, and we've been in various groups. You know, we'll get together, particularly when the kids are little, and then they'll fall apart, and People will go their different ways. But when my boys were little, I was very involved in groups and helped plan field trips, helped do all sorts of things. I actually started some groups, and we did parties and field trips and all sorts of fun things, and I think I was good at it. I really enjoyed it. I loved it. But I've changed a lot as a person in the last 10 years. I mean, I think, again, everybody changes, right? With life experiences and things, you know, that go on in your life. You're not the same person you were 10 years ago. And as my boys are older and are becoming teenagers, you know, I've really sort of taken a back seat to that and just, you know, gone and participated in groups. We are currently in a group that's over 100 families. It's very large, and we've been going for several years, not in 2020, but, you know, other than that, we've been there several years, and I've never connected with anyone there. I've never found, you know, anyone there that, you know, that we really chat, and that's probably just me. But anyway, the whole point of this being that at the end of January, I got this email from this woman, one of two women who run this group. They founded it years ago, and they are in charge. And she said that she was putting me in charge of the Valentine's party and would I plan it. And I was like, no, I'm sorry, I can't. I can't do that right now. My mental health is not in a state where I can plan a party for 100 kids by myself. And she said, well, here are some names of people that will help you out. So, and we really need you to do this. You've got to do this. Like, I tried to say no several times, and she's like, oh no, I'm sure you can do this. I'm sure you've got it, you know. So I emailed the people. It was about 10 or 12 names, and only 2 of them replied, like the whole time, like even up to the party, the rest of them didn't reply. And the moms in charge were like, well, you know, well, I'm sure they're busy. So thank goodness there was one lady who really stepped up, and she was like, oh, I'm on this, and I've got this, and I've got all these great ideas, and I'm going on Pinterest, and, you know, and she was like, she sent me all these emails about, like, we're going to set up this station and this, and she had games and activities and STEM challenges and, you know, I was like, I can do crafts. I'll bring hearts and stickers and washi tape and markers, and we'll do crafts, right? Got that, no problem. But she had all the other stuff. Thank God for her. I was so thankful for her. Because I don't know what I would have done if it wasn't for her. And so, but I was in a panic. And I'm rambling about this because I was not sleeping. I was like so literally like it was doomsday. It was on February 11th. And like the days were counting down, and I was like, I can't do this, I can't do this, you know. And then of course the morning came, and I took the things that I had gotten, and it was fine. The only little hiccup was that when I got to the park, it was just the 2 of us, or 3 of us setting up, and we had like 20 minutes, 15 minutes before everybody showed up, and I had to go to the bathroom. Like I couldn't hold, I had to go. Sorry if this is TMI, but seriously, like what else? And of course, the place that these moms choose to hold this party is at a park with no bathrooms, no facilities, in a neighborhood where there's no bathrooms really in, you know, close. I mean, you'd have to drive out of the neighborhood or whatever, which with little kids, I'm not quite sure what the thinking is with that, but anyway. So I had to hop in my car and drive to the grocery store around the corner and go in, do all, and come back. And so that was not helpful to my anxiety. But then once I got back and things got rolling and got started, it just sort of ran itself, I think, with credit to the other mother who was really pivotal. I'm not really sure why I'm sharing this story here, except that was most of my February, or it was the first couple weeks of my February. So I was in such an anxious state that even though cross-stitching helps me, I couldn't sit still and cross-stitch, and when I did, I was constantly up, and I got a lot of cleaning done. it doesn't really show now, but I did get a lot of decluttering and cleaning done, and so that was good because my anxiety, I had this nervous energy, and I was like, I have to do something, so I was up and doing, cooking, putting things in the freezer and cleaning. But anyway, no stitching, and now it's done and I can stitch. But I did get my gnome done, so that's something. I want to show my WIPGO January things now that I have chewed your ear off with rambling about my anxiety disorder, which, you know, it's whatever. But so WIPGO January, I talked about in my last video, but I didn't, you know, it wasn't the end of the month. So I completed, again, not all my goals, but one of my WIPGO, and I don't remember which number this was, I think it was number 2 or 19, I don't remember, was Merry Merry Needleworker from Lindy Stitches, and this is where I am. I did meet my goal for January, which was to stitch on this for 15 hours. I'm going to cover up my face because I'm not sure if it's focusing. I'm trying some different settings on my camera with the hopes that it will focus better, but I'm not sure. I should have done some tests on it first, but this is my test in real time. So I got more of the skirt filled in, still a long way to go with that, and started on the scissor. Well, I got the scissors mostly done, and over here. Started on the vines, and this is another pair of scissors. Merry Merry Needleworker, how does your garden grow? Or out as your garden grow, I'm missing the H. I thought I was done with that. There's always something, like I always think I'm done, and then I'm not done. I have framed pieces in the past, and then after they were framed, I'm like, oh shoot, like there's a whole chunk missing. Yikes. Okay, so for my second WIPGO for January, it was Victorian Home, which is treated by Artecy. It's from artwork by Dominic Davison. And I got 10 hours on this. My goal for everything was 15 hours on each thing for that month, or for the year really. So I have 5 more hours to go to complete my goal. Let me fold this like this. So so this is 10 hours, and this is where I got in 10 hours. I mostly filled in here, around here, along here, the grays. I had to pick up some more to replace some colors that I was running out of. So I was able to get that done, and I'm loving this again. This is one of those ones when, you know, sometimes I love it and sometimes I'm just like, ugh. But if I can get down to the grass, because there's green trees and there's grass down here, when I can get out of some of that gray, I think that it will really perk it up, and I'll be like, you know, get rolling on it again. For February, I forget the numbers. I'm sorry. If you follow WIPGO, you know them, and if you don't follow WIPGO, it probably doesn't matter what the numbers are. So I do know, though, that my 2 pieces for WIPGO were A Kiss for Snowman, and I have not picked this up this month at all. I don't have very much, I mean, I'm what, like halfway maybe, if you're going from diagonal? I hope you can't hear my boys. They're right on the other side of this wall, and they're playing a video game or watching YouTube about video games, and they're being very loud, but they're getting along. They're getting along, so I'm gonna leave it alone, but hopefully you can't hear them like whooping and cheering and stuff. So anyway, here's Kiss for Snowman. This is a Dimensions kit, and I just love it. I'm hoping to get the snowman finished and get her, the little girl in, and again, 15 hours would be my goal for WIPGO. And then my other WIPGO project was Do Different from Long Dog Samplers, done in 310, DMC 310 black, the whole thing on, I forgot to tell you details about fabrics, didn't I? I'm bad at remembering that. I do know that this one is on a 25 count Lugana, 1/1. And I worked on this section over here. I filled in the dog, the other long dog, and I got, did I? Yeah. I got those black boxes filled in. And I only worked on this for 2 hours so far this month. But that's my 2 hours. there was a mistake, or is a mistake in my pattern where the dogs didn't match up. I thought I made the mistake, and then when I went and checked it, sure enough, they don't match quite. So then I had to pull some out, and I probably have a fragment of thread that's, you know, going to be tempted to pull itself out or work itself out at some point, but maybe I can just sort of like stitch over there. And then in addition to those projects that I did very little on, I did put in some on my Blue Jays from Riolis, which is part of the Blue Jay Sal, or is the Blue Jay Sal from, that is being hosted by Cat Talks Calico Whimsy on Instagram and YouTube. And Calico is finished with hers. Cat is, I think, finished. I think the last time I checked in with her, she was almost finished. She could be very well be finished now. I apologize if I'm not sure. This is where I've gotten, and I love it. It looks really good from on the camera. I really like it. It stitches up really fast because there's a lot of half stitches, and the coverage is really good because of the acrylic wool acrylic, and I really like it. It's I think it's 14 count. I don't have it in front of me. This is the kit fabric. I was having terrible fraying because, you know, I don't stitch on Ada a whole lot, and it was fraying so badly on me, even with my Grand Guard on. So I just before this video, I put some Fray Stop on it. That's a liquid. If you're not familiar with it, it comes in a tube, and it's a liquid that you put around your seam, around your edge, and it dries it, I guess, kind of like a, it's not the texture of glue, but I guess it sort of serves, like it seals it, right? It seals it so that it doesn't tend to fray. So hopefully that will stop it. I almost did the masking tape from the old days, but I've used that before with good results. So sorry about it swinging. And that's my stitching update for February. In March, I'm hoping to get back early March or mid-March because it's my 7-year Flosstube anniversary. I can't believe it. 7 years? Yeah, 7 years. And then I would love to come and do a short video in a couple of days on my favorite new designs for the 2022 Nashville Needlework Market that's taking place. Is it this coming weekend? March 4 through 6, I think it is. So it wouldn't be this weekend, but it'd be next weekend? I don't know. I need a calendar, you guys. I have one on my phone. You think I could use it? Anywho, I would love to come and show some of those designs and show you which ones are my favorite, because there's some really cute stuff coming out. As I'm filming this right now, on the 18th, Stephanie of Lindy Stitches is going to be doing a Facebook Live this evening at 8 p.m. Eastern on Facebook and 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Instagram. I don't even know if this video will be up by then, but I'm excited to watch that and see. She's going to reveal her new designs that are coming out. And there's Silver Creek Samplers has some really cute ones, and Primrose Cottage, is it Primrose? Anyway, that's why I want to go through and show them. Thank you for sticking with me. I really appreciate it. I don't have any haul to show because I'm really trying to rein it in for at least a few months. And I did get a really beautiful Valentine's card from my friend Denise over at Black Ribbon Stitch Studio with some beautiful Valentine stickers. So thank you, Denise. I don't have it in front of me, I'm afraid. But so I was telling my kids the story of behind this piece, and I thought I would just share it with you all too, in case you might get a kick out of it. It made me laugh. So in 2004, I was dating, well, I had been dating who is now my husband, the guy that's now my husband. But we didn't get married for several years until after that. But we had been dating on and off for a couple of years, and it was one of the off periods. He had broken up with me and was seeing other people at that time. And I wanted to get back together. So what do you do when you're trying to get an ex back into your life to attract them back and make them see how lucky they are to have you? I did the only logical thing there was to do. I stitched him a cross-stitch design. makes me laugh so much now, because in that, you know, at that time, that really was what I was thinking. So like, he was back then, he was really into Japanese culture. I really wanted to go to Japan, you know, visit the Buddhist monasteries, and he was learning about the Eastern religions and things like that. And so I looked high and low to find a pattern that I thought he would, you know, that would be meaningful to him. And I found this Japanese one, and I thought, well, yeah, like, I'm gonna make him this gift. And I stitched it up, probably one of the quickest stitches I've ever done, and framed it. Went and grabbed a 5x7 frame at probably Walmart or something, I don't remember, and I stuck it on this board and framed it. And we lived an hour apart at that time. And so I drove up from my house one evening to his house, and I left it on the porch, on the swing that was on the front porch. And I drove back to my house an hour back, and then I called him and left a message just saying, hey, I left a gift for you on the front porch, see what you think. I'm sure he was like, okay, like, what is this, right? But in my mind, that was the best, that was like so special. Like, I stitched this just for him, with him in mind, you know? So obviously I would know better than that now, but yeah, I should have known better than that. But I guess it worked, because we've been married for a lot of years now. Thanks again, guys, for watching me stumble through another video. If you're so inclined, I would love to hear from you in the comments section. Please like, subscribe, all the things. And remember to Chris it up. If you're not familiar with that term, please look up that hashtag on YouTube and Instagram and find Stitchman Darcy's video from the new year, January 2022. And he will tell you all about what Chris it up is. That's our motto for this year and beyond. Hope to see you guys real soon. Happy stitching.